Alright, we're going to look at how to take a vocal loop and turn it into a cool vocoded loop. So I have this loop here I've taken from our Pop Vox sample set. We'll go ahead and apply a vocoder to it.
I can't get no love. I can't get no love. No.
First thing I like to do is add a compressor to this track. Just to beefing up my vocal signal. It seems to help get a little better results out of the vocoder. So after you have a compressor on there, go ahead and drop a vocoder on that chain as well. I can just drag it and drop. Next we need to create a MIDI track as a carrier source for our vocoder. So you can see I've got this MIDI track here. And I'm just going to scroll over here and I'm going to choose a sound from our operator. We'll go something in the synth lead department. Let's see here. Just scrolling through these. Let's take lead electro here. So here's that sound. Now we need to route this sound through the sidechain input of our vocoder. So if I click back on my vocode track, you'll see my carrier here is set to noise by default. You want to go ahead and set that to external. Then you'll get another audio from drop down menu. And this is where you'll want to go back to that MIDI track that you just loaded your sound up on. And go ahead and select that. You get another drop down menu which allows you to do pre, post, and mix effects. I recommend going with pre-effects. That'll help keep everything tight. At this point, we need to go ahead and hit the tab key and go to our mixer view. And on my vocode track, you'll see it says external in 1 and 2. We want to go ahead and turn that to 1. And then also go to your MIDI track and turn that off. This will ensure that sound only comes out of our vocoded track. But you will need to turn the record enable button on for your MIDI track. So now if I hit tab again and then I hit playback, so once we have everything routed correctly, basically our carrier source routed through the sidechain input of our vocoder, we can play any MIDI sequence we like. Now you do have to be in playback mode, so this has to actively be playing for you to get any sound coming out. If you're sitting there playing your vocoder right now and there's nothing coming out, it's because you're not in playback mode and the vocoder needs something to read. Okay, I'm going to record a basic melody here so we can start to take a look at the parameters on this vocoder and some of the different effects they have. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the controls on the vocoder. Now here's a vocoder I've been tweaking a bit. And if you'll see I've got enhance selected. Basically what that's going to do is take your sound and kind of normalize the dynamics. So it'll give you a fuller, brighter sound. So it doesn't sound as loud. But essentially the sound is more complete. Now let's go ahead and set our audio from effects parameter to pre-effects as I mentioned before. And then if we take a look at this noise generator here, you've got an unvoiced control knob. And basically this generates static noise off of the amplitude information from your audio source. So if I go up on this parameter, you'll start to hear some static in the back. It's kind of a white noise type of thing. And what that does is sometimes the vocoder doesn't do a good job of picking up syllables like F and S. So you can use this to try and get a little more definity out of that. You got a sensitivity knob and then how fast it kicks in, slow or fast. I typically don't use this that much. And if I do, it's slightly peppered in. Now the number of bands you have has to do with how accurate your frequency analysis is from your vocoder. So I have it set to 40 bands, which is the highest you can go, but you could set it down to as little as 4. Your range is the frequency range that you want your vocoder to operate within. So if you wanted to do any high pass or low pass filters, you can do it by adjusting your high and low range values. Now your bandwidth is the width of each band and how much they overlap. So it goes from 0, I believe, to 200. And I typically keep it around 100, but going up higher can create some cool results. Precise and retro, you can change that just by clicking. Retro has more of that metallic vintage feel, and precise is just more accurate. Now you also have a gate if you are vocoding something rhythmical, and you can set the level of that. And then you have your basic attack, release, and your dry wet settings. If you're looking for more depth, just go up on your depth control, and adjusting your format higher will give you more of a female type of voice, and going lower on your format will give you more of a male type of voice.